So Frankie's always felt that cordless tools were junk compared to their corded options.
It just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth my time to use a battery tool. They were junk.
So when I finally got him using the little Makita impact driver and liking it, I then took it away from him. I have no clue why he puts up with you. Put it in a bucket of water and froze it overnight and brought it back out to him. Hey Frankie, you missing something?
Yeah, my drill.
He then chipped the ice away from it, and then just to thaw it out some more, we dunked it in a bucket of hot water and then put a battery in it and figured it was never gonna fire up or probably short out pretty quick thereafter. Well, to our surprise, it's still working today. So we decided to pull it all apart to find out what they're doing inside of them. All right, whoa guys, before we get too far into today's video, after we're done tearing tools apart, we're gonna take about a minute to describe the difference between volts, watt hours, and amp hours, because I don't care who you are, that's confusing. We're gonna use the analogy of a car to make it easy to remember. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into it. Oh, and now would be a good time to subscribe. Just hit that button. You can do it. You can do it. It might actually be over there, but you can still do it. He can build anything from cars to houses and in between from scratch. I've seen him do it. If there's somebody that's picky about their tools, it's gonna be this guy. Hey Frankie, we were talking about tools.
Yep.
And you were telling me about your experience with cordless tools way back when.
Yeah, when they first started getting popular, I bought some battery tools, and I just wasn't happy with them. I was really, in fact, I was pretty much disgusted with them, and I finally went to the point where I refused to buy them or even use them because they just weren't what they are back in the day.
When they say back in the day, they actually mean Wednesday. Hello? There's nothing there. Nothing. Who's your good box? Who's your good box?
The batteries were basically junk. They were no good. You never knew if they were fully charged. You couldn't leave them on the charger over too long or anything like that, and it just was a hassle to use them.
Gee, Frankie, why don't you tell us how you really feel? And you were also telling me that you couldn't leave them out in the rain, drizzle. What was
yeah,
it?
because the batteries would short out or corrode, and then they wouldn't work anymore. And then, you know, I used to take them apart and make them work, but...
Yes, Frankie's actually taken apart the batteries on his cordless tools and fixed them.
Even that's a hassle, and it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth my time to use a battery tool. They were junk. They were, I mean, as far as my opinion is, they were junk.
Okay. So I asked you if you could build a deck in 3 days, and you joked and said, yeah, if I slow down.
Right.
You had no clue that I was going to take away all of your corded tools.
Right.
And give you all battery power.
Tools, right.
Now I thought it was pretty funny, but Frankie, not so much so. How did that go? You built that deck in 3 days using battery
good. Like I
tools.
said, I was impressed with the tools. These new batteries that they got out there now really last longer. They got more power. It really kind of changed my mind into using the battery tools again. Well, when we tore them one apart, you know, I was impressed with how they built them. You know, everything's watertight inside. You get the trigger, battery slide.
Where's the circuit board?
I would say it's inside this panel.
Let's take a
They
look.
ain't got an open circuit board no more like they used to. Okay, do these come apart? Yeah. This is all molded plastic.
So you don't even have access to the circuit board anymore.
Nope.
So that's why the drill's still working.
Wrapped. It's actually shrink wrapped.
This has rust.
Yeah, came out of the motor from being in the water submerged.
Where's the rust coming from?
Out of here, where your wrappings are, your copper wrappings.
Closer.
This is actually metal out here.
There's your motor. That's where the rust is coming from.
Yeah, because this is actually metal on the outside of it. But these are brushless.
Brushless?
Yeah, these got no brushes in them.
Switch.
Switch.
This is where the water did get in. Water penetrated this switch.
See, look at it. See the water come out.
Circuit board. That thing is sealed tight. So nothing is getting in there.
We found one with the trigger deal, but I mean, the brain of it and everything is just does not get wet. You know, I mean, it still worked. It did its job. I mean, like again, I was impressed with it.
Okay, but now one of the things you mentioned to me was the different batteries and how much of a hassle that was.
For each tool, yeah, just, you know, I mean, these tools, the tools now, you know, one battery fits the variety of tools. Back in the day when I first started with getting battery tools, every tool had its own battery or own charger, so you had to have 10 batteries for 10 different chargers. You couldn't, you know, it just, like I said, it just got to be a hassle because everything was just, I don't know, it was just a hassle to use them for me.
Well, now with Makita's new lineup, you can take the same battery from their chainsaw
and put it in the drill, yep, or the sawzall or whatever. Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's what I'm impressed. And even with Makita's, they got the dual charger.
What do you got?
A pumpkin.
So you can charge more than one battery on one charger. So that's nice.
Now that you've been forced to use battery, would you voluntarily go out and buy battery, or would you stick with the cord?
I'd go out and buy a battery. You know, I mean, I haven't tried all their tools or anything like that, but the ones I've used, I was happy with, because it is nice not to have to carry that cord around. But
do you feel that the battery power tools now have as much power as a corded tool?
Ah, man, I don't know. I'll just put it this way: they last longer than I've ever expected them to last. At first, yeah, they got the power, but the continuous, maybe not. But the batteries will wearing down. You got to take that into consideration. So, you know, I mean, I'd be happy with switching batteries, do it throughout the day.
And that is straight from Frankie's mouth. Thanks, Frankie.
Yeah.
So after Frankie and I started to pull these tools apart, we realized that the critical components are absolutely sealed. This leaf blower, for instance, was left soaking underwater overnight. All right, guys, I promised you we would talk about volts, amp hours, and watt hours and make it easy to understand and short and sweet. So let's get to it using this car as an example. When you think of volts, that's like the engine of the car. Amp hours is the actual fuel tank of the car, and watt hours is the miles per gallon. Some tools require more power to operate, so the engine technically starts to get bigger. The detriment to that is this thing can start to weigh you down over time. Makita has answered that by creating tools that you can simply slip in 2 of their standard batteries. The benefit to that is this little thing will charge much quicker than one of those big batteries, putting you back to work that much faster. Now, the higher amp hour a battery is, the longer the runtime you can expect to achieve. That's going to be important when you're carrying tools up onto a roof and you don't want to make multiple trips because you have a dead battery. This video has helped you guys out today. Hit the like button or please share this video. God bless. Go get them, my friends. All right, guys, one last thing. I have a special favor to ask you. I'd like to do a collaboration with a few other YouTube channels, but I don't know who you guys like to watch. If there's someone in particular you think I should do a collaboration with, let me know in the comments down below. If you could go one step further and go over to their channel and message them for me, that way it'll plant the seeds, so when I reach out to contact them, maybe I can work something out with them.